Thank you. It is, I didn't know I was going to be here until sometime yesterday when I walked into the Peace Now office here for the first time. I just want to tell you about my last 2 days and an experience that I had 30 years ago and why it felt so important for me to be here today. I came here 30 years ago with my pregnant wife, Catherine, and we were considering naming our soon-to-be, that we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, but our son, Isaac. We had Isaac as a possible name. And I was studying at the time in the Or Sameach Yeshiva to do research for the movie Yentl that I was about to begin filming. And most people at Or Sameach were trying to convince me to stop the movie from being made and leave the production. But I didn't want to do that. So during our stay, we took a ride to, somebody said you should go to Hebron. So I went. We both went. It was a beautiful journey with the terraced hills. We arrived to the square, and all of these children came running toward our car. Beautiful, huge eyes of glorious faces from these children. They surrounded us, and we took their pictures with us by themselves. And an elderly man, a beautiful old man, came up to me and my wife and said, "Would you like me to show you our town?" We said yes. And he took us through the town, and then he took us into the cave of Machpelah, and I said, "What is this?" He said, "This is where Abraham is." I said, "Which Abraham?" He said, "The Abraham." I said, "You're kidding me." He said, "No." He said, "And this is Sarah, and this is Isaac." I said, "Which Isaac?" He said, "The Isaac." I said, "Catherine, this is a sign." We walked over to the stone of Isaac's grave or tomb, and we rubbed her belly against it in hopes to bless our child, if it was a boy. And that boy is going to be 30 years old on July 10th. Our Yitzchak, our gift of laughter. So Yehuda from Breaking the Peace took me there 2 days ago. Breaking the silence. Thank you. Making the peace, breaking the silence. And before we went to Hebron, he took me to, I don't remember, there are too many names, too much information has been given to me in 2 days, so I don't remember the names, but he took me to the cave dwellers. There were two journalists that were doing a story. I think on May 17th, a court is going to decide whether these people can stay or leave. And we went into this schoolroom and listened to their testimony, and then we went into their cave. And it was an extraordinary home for 8 people, a small cave, children's faces, a small wheat field, some goat skins on the floor, and an elderly 78, 9-year-old, almost blind man giving his testimony to these journalists. And at one point they said, "This has been our home for 300 years. We don't understand what's happening." And I didn't understand what was happening. I could not understand after I'd been shown all the maps by Yehuda from Breaking the Silence, all the reasons why the dots of the lines of this border and that border and these dots and these homes and these Palestinian places and these settlements and why this had to be cleared. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand why these people couldn't be left in their homes, why we as Jews and neighbors weren't helping them with water and food and supplies to make their life better, not more difficult. After this, we went to Hebron, and I came to the same area. And everything was a ghost town. Every beautiful place I saw, the market, where everything was boarded up and the doors were sealed with welding. There was no one around. And the streets were only made for Jewish cars and Jewish people to walk on. And young children that would come by, where I was allowed to walk, were not allowed to walk. They had to go up this hill all the way around to get to their home, which was right there. And then we went into the cave of Machpelah. And it was a very different feeling. I couldn't even get to Isaac's tomb. There was no kind old man and no children with beautiful eyes looking at me. Before I went in, I saw some coffee cups and saucers with the name Hebron, and I thought, oh, that'll be nice. I'll get one of those before I leave to give to my son Isaac. And by the time I left, I didn't want a memory of this place the way it is now. And I was very sad. I spent 11 and a half hours traveling all over that day. I had just gotten off a plane, but I was wide awake and deeply, deeply troubled. Hagid took me yesterday to the Ariel settlement and to other places in that area of the West Bank. I had signed a boycott in New York that I was asked to sign with a lot of other American artists, writers, directors, actors, producers, musicians, and British artists to support the Israeli artists that did not want to go to the Ariel settlement. I was not aware of this document that I was asked to sign until my wife brought it to my attention, Catherine Grody, who, like most of us in the world, our wives bring many things to our attention. And then I do a Yiddish concert that I love doing. And I had 2 bookings in Toronto, and I had a non-Yiddish concert where I sing Broadway show tunes at the Ravinia Festival, where, it's a major outdoor festival outside of Chicago. And all of a sudden, I don't even remember the person's name, but there were thousands and thousands of emails sent out to boycott Mandy Patinkin's concert because he is a delegitimizer of the state of Israel, because he signed this petition to support Israeli artists who were also delegitimizing Israel. And I was overwhelmed, and I was frightened. I call myself an American Disneyland Jew because we can do whatever we want. We're safe. We write a check. We're never attacked. We live in freedom. And I was attacked, not by anyone that I didn't know, but by my own people in my own homeland. And I was frightened. I didn't know what it would mean. Would my concert career be over? And I turned to people far smarter than myself, Tony Kushner, Oscar Eustis. I asked them to help me respond to these false accusations. They misinterpreted everything, misquoted, turned it upside down. And they helped me make a response. And we expected large boycotts like they claimed there were going to be in protests at my concerts. We expected empty seats. They were 3 of the most thrilling concerts, one, and the other 2 I'm doing soon. This one concert was one of the most thrilling events I'd ever been allowed to participate in. My heart was filled beyond words, and there were no protesters outside. It was all hot air. And my fears were over. And if there's one thing I've learned from that experience and from the past 2 days, being privileged to travel around through the West Bank and go in the field and see what the realities are, real realities, as opposed to talk, ideas, maps, dots, numbers, details, which are important. All of them are very important to be worked out by the people in charge on both sides. But to feel the pain of the Israeli soldiers on guard, to feel the pain of the Palestinian women and children walking far around the road that I'm allowed to walk through, to feel the pain of Yehuda, who I turned to him after a 20 or 30-year-old beautiful young Israeli settler walks up to him and says something that I'm aware is not a kind remark. I said, "What did he say?" He said, "He called me a traitor." And I felt danger. To feel all of these things made me strong, made me certain that there is no petition I will not sign in the future. When I listen, I ask, just like all the American Jews say to me, the common phrases: "You're naive if you think there can be a peace. You're naive if you think it can all be worked out." So I asked these questions. I played the devil's advocate with Yehuda and with Hagid. And they believe in the deepest part of their souls that within their lifetimes there will be peace in this place. And the details will be able to work out. My lesson to myself and to anyone and everyone I meet from now till the end of my life will be the common ground that we all live with, our fears. We are all afraid of many things, all people, all over the world. It is our job, for those who do not have the strength to sit at the peace table, to walk into the face of everything we're frightened of, for as long as we breathe, and to not be afraid. The fear will never go away, but the strength will increase, and it will live side by side with your fear, and your strength will overwhelm your fear. I remember I did some concerts for Peace Now several years ago. And in a gymnasium, I was stark naked after taking a shower. And a man came up to me, a Jewish man in New York, and said, "How dare you raise money for Peace Now?" And he started going on about what was wrong with the organization and what they supported. And in my nakedness, I said to him, "Look, I support Peace Now. If you want to support peace later, that's your privilege. But now is the time for peace." And I want to just conclude by saying the privilege that I've been given, and also I encourage you to get every Israeli that you know, every Jew from anywhere in the world, to take these journeys I've taken over the past 2 days, and I will take today. They wipe away all talk, all maps, all things that have no tangible reality. Get there, walk on the ground, see the people, see the barricades, see the road systems, and you will never forget. And the greatest privilege I have that has wiped away my sadness and wiped away my fear was to walk into the Peace Now office yesterday and see the youthful faces, your youthful faces, their energy, and I am certain that this peace process will prevail. It will be the voice of the future now and forever of Israel, and God bless you. Thank you.